Let's get started.
Tuesday, February 18th, 7 p.m.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I move to amend the agenda under good faith, Idaho Code 74-204C, to add express personnel to our agenda. We weren't sure if they were going to be able to make it, so it's kind of last minute. That's something I think we need to talk about.
Second. All in favor? Yes.
We didn't get the payables, so did we?
No.
Okay.
And the only reason why that we had some was because we were waiting on POs, but it was for the street signs that you guys had already approved through the fire department. So if you're gonna take a look, it's just one page and then.
We got some new signs for the fire department. But I think it's just one sign, isn't it? One big sign?
The one that's out in front there that Clifford asked for?
Yeah.
Michael, do you know what it is?
I believe it's the flashing fire station warning sign from the state.
Oh, we gotta sign it, don't we?
Yeah. We got to approve it before we sign it.
Yeah. Go ahead. You're on a roll.
Move to approve the additional payables for the month of January.
Second.
All in favor?
No, he's not. Down to the planning and zoning hearing, or discussion on a public hearing. So I think this is to talk about if we're going to have a public hearing.
You have the,
Because I know that there's a meeting in Kendrick
on the 20th.
on Thursday.
Yeah.
So we need to talk about if we want to have one as well, I'm assuming. Or if we want to, I guess I'm confused.
We're not abandoning, we're not saying that
Right.
we're shutting it down.
But no, I guess I don't understand why we're having a discussion on a public hearing concerning it. That's why I'm trying to figure out.
Because you guys told me to put it on there. Want me to say something?
Please,
It's just
Cynthia.
public comment.
Okay.
so-
Well, if Kendrick has two options, they can either decide to go the way we are now or decide to not be part of it. So what we would be discussing is what would we do if they decided they didn't want to be with us? Because then you could have to draw up new ordinance, wouldn't you, to have covered the, how many members you're going to have on the board from just Juliaetta and things like that, or whether you wanted to have the city council do it. So that's what you have to decide, which way you're going and.
Well, we can't really decide that till we know if they're gonna get
Right.
to theirs.
Well,
No, this is what this is about, I
Right.
think, is
Yeah.
Cynthia
Right.
is
Okay.
informing us
Right,
about.
right.
At this point, you know, they may or they may not.
Right.
And if they decide to not be part of it, then you can decide what you want to do in that case.
Right.
So that's all.
But we just can't
Yeah, I
make any
think this is
decisions
just-
until
Yeah,
theirs is done.
Well, you can make a decision that if they do this, we will do that.
Mhm.
That's all.
yeah. But, I mean, it's not an action item,
No.
so.
No, not an
it's-
action, but it's plan and getting things ready in position so that if certain things happen, you know what you want to do.
So we can't discuss it. So my thoughts on it right away are that we should have 5 people, assuming that they do disband from us.
How many are currently in Juliaetta that's on it?
Oh, the way it's currently set up is that there's supposed to be 4 from each city. 3 from the city and 1 from the area of impact. So if we went up to 5, that would be a nice manageable number.
And I think that we should lean towards people from the area of impact, but I don't think it should be a requirement, because we're asking 5 people from the community to be involved.
Any other questions?
And if we have 5 people, then the chairperson can be the deciding vote if necessary.
That's what I've been doing, not voting unless it's a tie.
Yeah.
And I've only had, all the years, I've only had to break one tie.
And I'd like to say that if we go this route, if you guys don't mind me saying it, we need people that are gonna be very stern on the law, and they're gonna have to be tough. They're not gonna be, we've witnessed people try to intimidate and bully, and if we allow that to happen now, wait till more Californians move in and see what happens. We cannot allow that to happen. We have to stand on the law, and we need people who are iron tough. And I have someone in mind right now, and I bet you know who it is.
So until their meeting, we don't, I mean, it's not.
Yeah, we're not.
No, we're just kind of
Probably
looking,
a done deal, like, I mean,
it'll all depend on their public hearing, and they'll make their
The
decision on
comments
Thursday.
They're gonna do it.
Right, yeah.
and,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just giving us an idea to, you know, hear from Cynthia and kind of decide, like, if they do this, what we've done, what they've talked about, what we want to do. But we'll have to, I assume we'll have to have a public hearing either way. If we just,
Well, no, I mean, if they choose not to make any changes,
Right.
the only reason you need a public hearing is if you're gonna change it despite that.
right,
So,
But
if
if
you're
we,
if you're gonna amend the code, yeah, you'll need a public hearing.
okay. Okay. Do we want to do express personnel or the building inspector next?
I don't care.
You're up, Justin.
Right.
Brian, sorry. That's Justin.
Great. Well, thank you guys for having me. So, my wife and I, we own Express Employment. We're a staffing company. And some of my team came and had talked to Justin through email. And like most of our area, a lot of people don't know what we do. And I think there's an opportunity that we saw that we kind of reached out to Justin about the city clerk and admin, and this is how we support a lot of local businesses in the area. We're from Lewiston, but we're a franchise. And I'd like to take this time just to maybe to do a little bit of just kind of a quick overview of what we do, who we are, and then you guys can kind of ask me some questions, if that's okay. So, so Express Employment, we're a franchise. We're currently the 2nd largest staffing company in the U.S. And so we're a franchise, so we have the benefit of having a huge headquarters, but also being locally owned and being really focused on the community here. And so my wife and I was born and raised in Spokane. We're in healthcare in Spokane for 16 years. And then about 3 years ago, almost to the date, that we kind of wanted to do something different. And we moved down here to Lewiston and kind of took up this kind of opportunity. And being from healthcare, we really love being a part of the community and helping people. And so that's why we made the move. Express, we're crucial between the company and the workers. There's a lot of disconnect with whether it's Indeed or finding the right type of person. So we're basically matchmakers, when you think about it. We have a huge database. We have about over 20,000 people in our database. Express started in 1983, but it's been in Lewiston since '91, I believe. So we have a large database of workers, and we really get to know our associates and also know our clients, so we know what matches, what's a good fit, right? So we qualify and interview the candidates, we complete reference checks, conduct skills assessments, and we perform a kind of a pre-hired background checks, things like that. We go off of the company's background policy, so we do mirror what they have. So sometimes it could be very strict, like with hospitals, or sometimes there's construction companies where there's none, and so we don't do any. So we kind of match the policy there. So what, maybe I'll explain what makes us different from maybe what a company would do with themselves. How we different and what's the positive, what's the benefit. I would say number one is that they're our employee while they work for that company. which is unique because then if there's any type of discipline or quick turnover, we can quickly have one associate replaced with another one. So the company doesn't have to be stuck or do all the recruiting, do a working interview basically. The resume doesn't always add up to the person, right? So you have that safety net. Well, if it doesn't work out, you can have someone there almost the next day. So it's a working interview that Indeed or anyone else doesn't really have to make sure it's a good fit. You could have someone with a great skill set, but doesn't match your culture, and that's a lot of times is the issue. It's not just for the company, but it's also for the associate. My wife was a dental hygienist, and she went through a staffing company, and she had about 3 or 4 assignments where it just didn't match. Her alignment with the dentist, maybe the culture, or even the tools and equipment, this wasn't her fit. And then when she had her 4th placement, she was there for the next 15 years. So that's kind of what we kind of provide, not only for the company, but for our workers. So, I would say it could be just temporary, 2 or 3 weeks, 3 months, or what we do probably most of is what we call an evaluation hire. So it's that working interview, and as soon as you feel like it's a good fit, then you can kind of roll them onto your payroll. So that's a really quick, condensed version. I know that you have some questions. I love this kind of to bounce some of those questions, and if you have any. Yes?
So you staff hospitals, you said, and hospitals obviously require a high degree of confidentiality in a lot of cases. I would say so does a municipality. There's a lot of confidential information. What kind of, you said training, or what kind of safeguards can our residents feel safe about someone who might not be permanent or someone from out of town seeing their personal information?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question, and I think that really depends when you're talking about a hospital. Yeah, we do a lot of those background checks, but if there isn't any, we will do our very best with the information that we have, but there's not a 100% certain that this person is, especially if we don't have any background checks, that face-to-face interview that we do, and past experiences can lead us pretty confident. But if the company doesn't have strict policies, we can't do strict policies or do background checks that's not part of their policy.
Gotcha.
So, so I would recommend, how strong is your current background check and policy? That I would say that, because we want to do the best, and we do. I feel really strongly with our team, but to answer that 100%, we don't know if we don't have any policies to go off of or mirror.
I appreciate you explaining that.
Yeah.
So my question would be, is there any sort of like vetting process, to confirm their skills in resumes? So we're not like getting
Yes.
someone who's over, like,
Yes. Great question, thank you. We actually have skills assessments. So whether if it's more office or professional related, or sometimes as simple as just measuring, or learning how to read a measuring tape, right? That we send people out to construction sites. So we have a wide variety of skills assessments. We also have education periods. You're not gonna get certificates, you're not gonna get any, but you will have, if there's a gap of maybe their skill sets to a particular job, they can take courses to help them improve with, whether it's Microsoft Word or whatever. So we have those fillers as well. If we deem that there's a gap of skill set to what is required, but maybe it's a great culture fit, they just need a little bit more, we have courses. They're not welding courses, you're not gonna get those type of level, but we have more to like moderate to entry-level position or skill sets. But we do check references, we go with their work history, and we definitely vet them, but then we also then do some assessments to make sure that who they say they are on a resume is who we're gonna send to you, so.
I'll go again.
Yeah.
Can you speak to the caliber of employees that you're interacting with so that people don't have any preconceived notion of why people are going through the employment agency like yourself to find employment.
Mhm. So we work with, or we interview everybody. So I understand what you're saying, because we have a bad rap ourselves with, day labor, we grab people, we just throw people to jobs, and that's not how we do. But we do have businesses that, hey, I can pay $16, $15 an hour, that's not very competitive. I get people, no work history, maybe 18, 19, that they can physically do the job. We let them know, like, hey, we have this individual, he's unproven, did well in the interview. He's willing to work at $15 an hour, building fences in 100-degree weather. However, we do our due diligence, and we do a lot of professional and skilled trades, and we do a lot of pre-screening. So we don't work with everyone. We're not for the state. We do hand select the people who will represent my wife and I well and express well, my whole team. So there is a lot of due diligence and processes that we match what the company is requiring and asking for, the skills and experience. So we don't just randomly place. There is a lot of testing and assessment that goes into that. We do work with pretty much everyone, but we do turn a lot of people away and give other resources like the Department of Labor and WorkSource. So anyone that we don't feel is going to do the job well, we do refer them to those organizations.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, just,
I'll just say, kind of, one of the main reasons I reached out is just because the treasurer position, there's a lot of accounting skills, and that seems to be a harder position to find. So that's why I thought you guys would be a good resource for finding somebody that has really specialized knowledge of fund accounting. That's why.
I'm not sure, I did get approval, but the Port of Lewiston, they have a financial, director, financial director, and they use our services, but they as well went through their process with Indeed, and they had 40 applicants. Out of the 40, we sent 4. 3 made it the top 5, 2 made it the top 3, and they did pick our financial director or our associate for that position.
And Billy, I believe, mentioned that you hired already 2 positions for other municipalities, cities. So cul-de-sac and...
We're currently working with Blues for those contracts, but it was cul-de-sac, oh my goodness. Yeah, we were currently working, I think that's maybe she was saying, we were currently, and we were negotiating the staffing agreement. There are some things where they wanted to change, so I sent that to our headquarters, and I have the modified staffing agreement, so we are actually currently in process with that. So, but City of Lewiston, that's our normal client that we have, and we work with, we're actually City of Pullman, now things are coming back to me, so we work with that quite often, and schools, LCSC, and hospitals. We don't do any medical care, that's the one thing we probably don't do, is therapy or doctors and nurses, but we do with a lot of office, admin, or PSR, or billers, or anything like that.
I appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
I really
Thank you
do.
for
I
having me.
answered a lot of questions.
Yeah, thank you. I think probably, I'd like to, I did bring some stuff for you guys. This for additional stuff, pass it around, or leave it here, leave it you, Justin.
Yeah, you can just leave it here, and I'll pass it around. Billy gave me some pricing sheets and that kind of thing, so.
Yep. The one thing I didn't mention, didn't say is that the contract length, if it's evaluation to hire, which is kind of that working interview before you hire, the contract length is 720 hours, which is 90 working days. So that gives you that period of, okay, is this person a good fit or not? So after 720 hours, you can roll them onto your payroll. If it's a great fit and you wanna roll them on early, that's fine, that there would just be a conversion fee, basically whatever's remaining on the hours will be, on that last invoice. So that was probably the only thing, that there is a, length of 7 or 20 hours, so. Yep. And in that, we cover all workers' comp, taxes, there are employees, so we take care of all that, stuff as well, so.
Just to reiterate, in that time frame, so if things weren't working out and you did help us swap someone out, that would restart the 7 or 20 hours? Okay.
A lot of times, if, we get there halfway through and, maybe it's family emergency, they have to fly all the way back to the East Coast and they're not coming back. It's a lot of times we'll say, okay, we'll meet you in the middle. Like, we almost had it there, darn it. We don't want you to start all the way back to 720. It's a great thing that being franchise owner, we can almost do anything we want.
Okay.
So we want, our goal is not to hoard all the great candidates. We want to find homes for our workers, so. I'm also gonna drop off some cards as well, so you guys can email me on the time, so. I know you have it, but it's
Yeah, I don't.
extra off, so.
I can't actually email all of them at once. Okay. Because then it's a quorum or something, so.
Sure.
Yeah, the cards would be great, then they can email it, Bill.
You can email.
Can I email all of them?
We just can't all come
They
back.
can't respond.
Yeah, they reply all.
I can't reply.
Yeah, I mean, they
Okay.
can, yeah.
I'm glad that got clarified, because I was scared to death to email all of you at one time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I looked over the building inspector thing. I didn't see any red flags. Did you get clarification on what we talked about with the insurance thing? Because it sounded like that if it was our fault, we paid.
That's how I read it. I was not able to reach anybody that I tried to get any change, but this is the same contract that they've approved with other cities. I honestly am not seeing a problem.
Any questions on it?
Wait until everything goes wrong.
Somebody want to make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion. Who is it?
Latah County?
Oh, just Latah County. Okay, make a motion to accept Latah County as the building inspector for the city of Juliaetta.
Second motion.
Amanda.
I move to go into executive session pursuant Idaho Code 74-206, subsection 1A and J.
I'll second.
Roll call vote.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes.
No.
I don't know why I said that.